Imagine standing on a cliff, ready to jump down into the sea. The altitude is quite elevated, and it could turn out to be a dangerous jump. On one hand, the self-preserving attitude says, you should not do it. On the other, the desire for adrenaline and experience tells you, just go for it and enjoy. You're involved in this strong internal dispute with all of your being. Tension rises, the breath becomes agitated. Suddenly somebody pushes you. That entire vortex of thoughts, so alive 1 second before, suddenly reveals itself to be completely useless. Holding your breath or even screaming, you're falling towards an unknown and potentially dangerous destination. How can I get out of this situation and save my life? How do I avoid a hard impact with the water? Somebody pushes you, and what 1 second before was a reality in which was urgently necessary to get involved in, suddenly doesn't mean anything anymore. Your neuromuscular system was completely absorbed in that situation that seemed to require a multitude of frantic thoughts, doubts, anxiety, tension, and agitation. One push, and all those fears and insecurities in reality end up revealing themselves as an obstacle in your efficiency and as another bubble that you gave too much importance to. Feeling, listening, being present and relaxed is what would have inevitably granted the most efficient answer to a potential push, or to the decision to jump, or the one to renounce doing it. So much time we spend trapped in tension, fear, stress, and anxiety, and identifying with internal disputes of the same and completely useless nature, such as the one mentioned above. Before I was happy, I liked it, now I'm not. I became sad, anxious, nervous, and I can no longer find the lightheartedness of long ago. I want to get back to feeling joyful again. You know what I'll do? Tomorrow I'll quit my job, leave my partner, go back to the gym, start a diet, quit smoking, and very soon I'll become rich, famous, and will fall in love with my soulmate. And the day after, the same identical miserable pattern continues over and over and over again. Humanity is facing something it has never experienced before in the thousands of years that preceded the last century. Suddenly, life's rhythm has drastically speeded up. TV, internet, video games, smartphones, advertising, more and more complicated social rules, laws, bureaucracies, limitations, moral impositions, and material pressures. In order to cope with this tsunami of information, impositions, and continuous stimulations that uncontrollably create impressions of any individual's subconscious, our nervous system is being forced to adapt to function at a natural and accelerated pace. The frantic rhythm of the interactions through smartphones and social networks, the obsessive expectations for further messages that soon will come, the horns, the mermaids, the alarms, the appliance turned on, the debts to pay, the fear of losing your job, a beautiful woman completely naked there in front of you on the screen, children that worry you, parents that don't understand you, your partner suspected of maybe being unfaithful, the pictures and the videos of that place where you would love so much to go, the radio and the TV on, keeping you company, that keep on suggesting you what to believe in and what to desire, with all their jingles, debates and slogans. But here, now, in the reality, the only thing that really exists, who manages to stay anymore? Continuous jerks of the mind, incongruent thoughts, and a continuous frantic alternation of contrasting emotions that have no rule or order. As if we are puppets whose strings can be pulled by whichever random and nonsensical controller comes next. And so, due to our continuously increasing vulnerability derived from a myriad of impulses that we are exposed to, and from the precarious psychophysical equilibrium that follows, we end up building unconscious emotional barriers and blocks that separate us from reality, making it impossible to have a genuine enjoyment of life. Those blocks and barriers become integrated parts of our personalities, turning honest communication, trust and sharing between people into a rare phenomenon. pathologies of all forms keep on manifesting themselves in an alarmingly increasing number of ways more than ever before. Depression, anxiety, panic attacks, hypochondria, drugs and alcohol abuse, sexual dysfunctions, isolation, insomnia, food-related pathologies, verbal and physical aggression, internet, video games, smartphones, TV addictions, and too many other compulsive, neurotic, and violent manifestations for the fragile and delicate organisms as we are. Psychologists, psychiatrists, and therapists of all kinds struggle in the attempt to deal with the symptoms of sufferance that uncontrollably pour out of the unbalanced, confused, tense human being. Their admirable attempts and the prescribed medicines manage sometimes to reduce manifestations of sufferance at certain degrees, but clearly are not finding stable and definitive solutions to the problems that generated them. If we want to resolve such a dramatic situation, along with the many other problems that are limiting the permanence of our race on this planet to a very mediocre and painful level, we need, first of all, a properly functioning body, breath, and mind. The first action we perform when coming out of the maternal womb is to gasp for an inhalation, and the last action we will perform before dying will be an exhalation. We breathe an average of 21,000 times a day. We can survive without sleep, food, or water for several days, but we can't survive more than a few minutes without breathing. 21,000 daily opportunities to influence our mental and physical health to deeply improve the most vital and unrenounceable function our body performs. And yet, society, schools, medicine, and individuals choose to ignore it. The unbalanced mind keeps on being addressed by therapists of all kinds, focusing on the mind itself, with no apparent tangible results, as the expansion of mental pathologies unquestionably indicates. Breath is the gateway through which we could access the complex and fascinating realm of the mind. In order to balance and learn how to influence and control the mind, we need to train our breath first. Most forms of disequilibrium in our body and mind are manifested in our breath through irregularities and limited breathing patterns. Breathing patterns have mutated their original dynamics, affected by stress and anxiety. This profoundly affects body and mind dysfunctions. Agitated breathing patterns are a major supporter of stress and anxiety, while the limited amount of oxygen made available for each breath is, in the meantime, a cause of dysfunction in the internal organs. Re-establishing a correct breathing pattern will reveal itself to be of capital importance for the mental and physical health of any human being. Improving the breath efficiency and, as a consequence, inducing a better functioning of the entire body and its organs will also help to slow down the cerebral activity, balance the activities of the hemispheres, train awareness and focus. All of these are prerequisites for a correctly functioning human being. Once the appropriate conditions are established, it will be easier to let go of neurosis and enjoy life more and appreciate all of its miraculous beauty. We will learn how a retrained, free-flowing and harmonious breath induces healthier psychophysical functioning, growth in emotional stability, calmness, confidence, equilibrium. And those are the prerequisites for freedom. Freedom comes from within. Being prisoners of a polluted mind and a dysfunctional organism, reaching any kind of material possession will never grant us the possibility of no longer being only prisoners. It would be best to always begin to observe your breath from the exhalation. The exhalation is controlled from the parasympathetic nervous system, which is in charge for relaxation. The inspiration is instead controlled by the sympathetic nervous system, which is in charge of activation. Beginning to observe your breath from the exhalation will promote a better attitude that, through time and repetition, will manifest as a profound influence on the general attitude of your personality and mental condition. Allow your breath to flow freely. From the next exhalation, observe 3 cycles of life passing through your nostrils. Which parts of the body are moved by breath coming in and out of your body? Are there pauses between the breaths? From today, while waking up, taking a shower, working, cooking, sitting on the bus, standing in line at the post office, watching TV, listening to somebody, going to sleep, check if and how your breath is flowing. The first and most important task that we will try to accomplish will be to gently introduce observation of ourselves. During the day, be in touch with your breath as a way of exploring and understanding yourself. We are contemplating life renovating itself at every exhalation and inhalation. We shouldn't live anymore without paying attention to such a miracle. Every single moment that we will spend observing our breath will be one step closer to equilibrium and one step away from that cage of fears and unfulfillment in which too many of us nowadays feel trapped in. The practices and observances recommended through these articles, if followed as prescribed, will undoubtedly lead towards a better general functioning and equilibrium of any human being. We have already started taking these few steps together. Keep on walking that direction. May these words inspire you towards action.